The Starlet Crusher. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Now, getting started today. Well, I think I want to visit the Blue Skies dimension. Last episode, we discovered an entirely different dimension, but the Blue Skies has a lot of blocks that actually fit in very well with our current world. And unlike our prior dimension, there's a couple of things that are going to be very, very useful to us that will show up in the form of arcs. And these are 4 arcs that you can actually obtain from the bosses in the 2 separate dimensions that Blue Skies adds. Now, the Blue Skies mod is pretty much like the Aether in the fact that when you go into these dimensions, it's almost like an entirely new progression that you kind of have to go through. Well, unless you're incredibly overpowered, then things definitely fall into place a little bit differently, but you are expected to kind of progress through these dimensions as if they are a brand new experience for you. So our picks, for example, are not going to work as effectively, and our weapons are not supposed to work as effectively either. All of this kind of combined together are supposed to lead you into mining for ore in that dimension and all kinds of other stuff. Now, in my case, I am pretty much after only 2 of these arcs. This one, which is the nature arc, which is usually dropped from the final boss, I do believe. The final boss inside of the Everbright dimension. And then we also have the ethereal arc, which this one also comes from, I believe, the Everbright dimension. So Everbright is the one that I personally enjoy the most, but the Everdark, this one you'll get a dark arc. This one grants invisibility when sneaking with smoke. And then the poison arc, this one will basically increase the damage dealt by 1 when poisoned. Now, the dusk arc, you get these from these like mages in towers. Same with the ethereal arc, and the nature arc comes from a final boss that is in a special like sort of puzzle dungeon. Same with the poison arc, which is a puzzle dungeon like sort of built around spiders. Which is very cool. Now, I prefer the Everbright dimension, and if I remember correctly, it is actually eternally day in the Everbright dimension. So yes, you could technically set up a bunch of solar panels in that dimension, potentially, if you can get power to transfer back into this world. Now, as I am on my way over here, I'm playing some flute music here. I do know exactly where one of these structures are that actually gets us started in this dimension. We have to find a very particular building with a very particular villager, kind of. Now, there are multiple types of these buildings, but this one right here, you can kind of take a look at, and you'll be able to see that it has a separate space or a room here. Some of them will have the portal, for example, in a separate building, much like this, which, by the way, this one takes you to the Ever Dawn. You can see right here, because this is lunar stones, you're looking for sort of a bluish portal to go to the Everbright, which is the one I'm after. And you will need to find this particular building with that particular thing in place. And this guy that is sleeping right here, Lester, this is the guy that you actually want to trade with. And this guy will offer you a way to light that portal. So I think I'm going to need to do some trading with this guy. Hello. So 8 emeralds. Emeralds. They're always wanting those emeralds, aren't they? There we go. So we'll get ourselves a zeal lighter. Now, the zeal lighter will light both portals. So this one, like I said, is ready to go. This is going to take us to the Ever Dawn. You can see the Ever Dawn portal block, but this isn't the one that I want to go to. Now, if you are after the Dusk arc and you're also after the Poisonous arc, then those are this is definitely the dimension for you. And it is a lot darker in that dimension than the Everbright, of course, because it is dusk. But I'm gonna have to look around, because I know that I have found another one of these portals in the world that was the Everbright. I just don't really remember where it was at. Aha, this is it. Okay, it was the one that was by our Nexus portal. I thought I remember seeing one, and here it is. Okay, so yes, it's set up the exact same way as the other one, but this one has these turquoise stone bricks. And this is how you ignite the portal to the Everbright. Now, once you get into these dimensions, you can, of course, build your own portals by obtaining these materials. And yes, you can build portals to these very specific dimensions wherever you may please. So closer to your base, of course. But we should be good to be able to chill out in here. Look at this. Moonstone shards, by the way. I'm pretty sure these are used to make moonstones, which are actually some pretty cool light sources. They go like on the wall, just like you see here. And they do make for some very nice lamps. I don't know. But let's go ahead and step into this portal, because this is going to start and initiate our journey through the Everbright, which is a very, very interesting dimension, by the way. Oh, here we go. And journal entries found. By the way, there is a full book embedded within this whole mod. And that book, I believe, is built in. I think it's supposed to be built in. It used to be built in here. Maybe it's its own book now. But this, by the way, is where you put your arcs. So this little slot that you've seen in your inventory in the bottom left is actually related to this dimension. So yes, there is a book. There is like some lore built around this. But once we get here, there's something very specific we need to look for. And you're going to be able to easily see it on the map. It's going to be a massive tower. By the way, this looks like a new mob. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. And something else I want to note. I want to try this Farslayer sword like on these bosses, because this sword seems to sort of completely bypass the way normal swords work and deals that very incremental damage depending on how much health a certain mob has. So this should work on bosses. If like it has over 100 health, that would chop down like 80% of its overall health with just one swing. So yeah, this is something definitely worth trying. Now, this structure that we are after, like I said, we should be able to see it on the map. It is a tower that is going to be sticking up out of the land. Look at that. There's a reindeer. And then we also have some rams. There's a lot of different types of mobs that you're going to find in here, passive and hostile. So keep that in mind. A Zoofalo. I love these guys. And speaking of tower, there was one literally right here. And this is what this bad boy looks like. Which is sort of like a mini puzzle that I kind of love. But I have messed around with this mod so much. I've probably completed this mod a good 5 or 6 times now. And I will say that it doesn't have a whole lot of replayability outside of you doing the tower the first time and then repeating the bosses, because you might have to, because of the bags that these things drop. There's a chance of getting certain items. So you may have to rinse and repeat in order to get certain items. But it does look like these have been changed a little bit. Like, I don't remember that block being in there. So this is all going to be interesting. The Wizard's Tower. And I'm also kind of wondering how hard these monsters are going to hit. Because right now, with my abilities on, I am going to be taking some significant damage to magic. And that might not be good up against like a wizard, right? So here are some villagers, and there's actually some sneaky chests, because we need to find these blinding dungeon keys. These right here, we need to find them in each one of these little rooms. Some of them have them, some of them don't, along with these little puzzles that you might encounter. For example, this little mini puzzle. Of course, we could jump up here and bypass the whole thing, but what's the fun in that? We can go ahead and head around. And there's a chest right here that has our other key. And we need 4 of these keys in order to progress on. Now, this axe right here is one of the axes, like I said, you will end up getting from this dimension that are related to being able to break these different dimensional things. I think if I was to use a regular axe, oh, it doesn't even let me. You can't do that right now, but this axe also won't let you. But supposedly, you're not supposed to be able to use regular tools from the overworld. But looky here, we have ourselves a key that is actually inside of this brewing stand. So listen, they're a little tricky, but yes, you can find these things inside here, along with some of the plant life, like for example, these berry bushes. Yeah, in these towers. And I really need to hype this up. That's why I made this flute. So that way I can, you know, have some music on the go. Oh, this flute's so nice. So at this point, we now have 3 keys. So we're getting pretty close, I think. There should be like 1 or 2 other areas. Here's like a bedroom with a regular cat. And there we go. There is our last key needed. We also ended up getting a music disc for this and some of that ore that we can find around. Quite the boost. Okay, so I am a little nervous because, like I said, I don't know how well our magic resistance is going to be in this place, but if I go ahead and activate this with the key, it should teleport us into what is essentially going to be our first boss encounter from the Blue Skies mod. And this is it, the Summoner. Now, I don't want to use this just yet because I want to try this. Oh, goodness. So this just completely slays this guy. Oh, but notice, it does not one-shot the boss. Interesting. So yeah, I do not expect this boss to be that challenging with our currently equipped gear. Yes, you can see. Holy smokes. Also, notice, by the way, that our armor is like completely being ignored. Like our armor values did go down. We are now at 2 times. Because when we're in this dimension, our current armor is technically not as good as it is in the overworld. But that should be fine. Because I almost guarantee that this thing completely destroys these bosses. And yes, I am correct on that. How does this sword handle? That's pretty good too. It is very good. But yes, the gun is just incredibly powerful in its own right. Oh my goodness. I mean, this sword does do significant damage. Like, it is one-shotting these things, which I just think is absurd. Oh man, but I do want to try and kill it with this sword because this is what I have looting on it. I don't know if that's going to affect my drop rates or anything like that. A 1-star summoner. I wonder if the star matters. All right, here we go. And there we go. Tragic magic. I love it. I love it. So inside of here, we get ourselves a trophy, but we also get a summoner's loot bag. And this is where, like I said, there's a chance of getting certain items. Now, an alchemical table, which is a mod that allows you to sort of transmute certain items from this dimension or in the overworld as well, is something you can get from here, which would be very nice to get. That's also a very, very helpful item. But the likelihood of you getting it is probably going to be pretty low. Now, we end up getting this right here. It says just Wind Throne. That's not what it's called, though. There we go. A soul-bound spear. And then we end up getting our arc. Now, this one says grants a 20% movement speed. This one says 10, but 20% movement speed? I will take. That is so nice to have, and it was one of the main reasons I wanted to come to this dimension in the first place. The other one, well, is just sort of an extra little treat. Now, that table, by the way, that I was talking about is this thing right here, the alchemy table. This is an uncommon drop from the alchemists in the Ever Dawn. So this will be actually... This will come from the Dark Dungeon one. So we might actually go over there. It's pretty much the exact same sort of setup. And whenever you go into the Ever Dawn, you'll be fighting a boss in the exact same format. It's just, it's going to be a darker version of it. And yeah, after we're done, we just right click this and it teleports us out. And that's basically it. Now, I think after we defeat this guy, then we can actually break these blocks. Now notice it says this tool doesn't really seem to work very well in this dimension, and that's what I was meaning by the thing earlier, where I was like, oh yeah, these regular tools from the overworld are just not suitable for this magic realm. So some other things to sort of mention about this dimension. There are ways to actually teleport around from this dimension alone. It does require some sort of villager sort of interaction. You will find villagers that are exclusive to this dimension, by the way. And those villagers can trade you some very interesting items. And there's also some interesting items you can find in chests. But yes, one of the major things that you can find is an item that basically allows you to sort of set a location to teleport to. And yes, I do believe it's the star emitter. It's basically a way to teleport back home when you want to get back after a, big adventure. Now notice, by the way that these items look in comparison to the other dimension that we visited last episode. Because this one has more vanilla fitting sort of textures, whereas the other one was very, very whimsical. And I have no idea how to build those into a build. Whereas these are actually kind of nice gray sort of blue tinted blocks, which, I mean, would fit very well in almost any kind of build. Not to mention you can actually strip these and then you get this very nice sort of almost cyan color, very light blue sort of colored log, which we don't have in Minecraft. Now, I've just been walking in a straight line, and something to note about the next boss. Yes, you are going to need, spoilers, an axe for this. Not another sword, but an axe. Well, at least for the main boss. And yes, this thing that you see in front of me is the boss arena. It is massive. This is a huge building, and believe me, is probably one of the most challenging puzzles to get through in this mod, as you have to make sure you don't get lost, because it is very easy to get lost in this. Now, with the help of the map, it may make this a little bit easier, but this thing right here, you cannot actually get into the boss unless you have gained all of the keys. And, well, getting all of the keys, as you're going to see, is probably one of the most challenging parts of this whole maze. But I will say, this is by far one of my favorite boss battles of all time. It is so good, and I cannot wait to do it again. Now, to find the darn entrance on this thing. Where is it at? It's got to be here somewhere. Ah, is this it right here? There we go. There's the stairway leading up. Perfect. The heart of nature. This place is just jam-packed. Ah, but yes, our map is going to make this so much easier, almost kind of cheaty, to be able to navigate this. But this is what we're going to need to do, is loot out each of these rooms for their chests to try and find the keys, just like our other tower, except these keys are going to be green, and, well, they're also going to be pretty rare. When I mean rare, that means that you're only going to find one key per level. So, yeah, and you also have to find the staircase going up, and breaking through the wall, yeah, don't think about that either, because it's not going to work here. And some of these places, chests definitely are going to be hiding things. So, something worth noting, but at least I'm able to see where these junctions start and end on the map. And also, there's a lot of rooms that just don't even have chests in them at all. For example, the one that we were just in. Yes, I really like the design of this sort of, like, I don't know, this sort of boss design is really good. Going through here, finding chests, getting lost in a labyrinth. Oh, it's honestly one of my favorites. Definitely. This whole building is one of my favorite bosses. Ooh, see, for example, this has 2 chests. I'm also going to grab these gemstones while I'm here. Like the fruit and stuff, not a huge deal. I will take the saplings, but yeah, there's gemstones, there's all kinds of stuff. This is another dead-end room, which I also assume, yep, has no chests. There are some really interesting hidden chests as well. Just want to make sure to capture the key as soon as we see one. Like all of these chests over here, each one of these could contain a key. They could. I don't even know how these are generated like that, because they would have to make sure that at least one in all of these chests have a key in it, but also make sure that not more than one of the keys are found per level. Here I go again, just thinking too hard about everything. Leave it up to me to do that. Love how each one of these areas also have some sort of like parkour that is going on. That is very, very nice. There's not many chests left in this area. There it is. So yeah, there we found it. So after opening a few chests, we have now found it, but we also now have to find our stairs that lead up to the next level. And that'll put us on level 2 out of a total of 4. Now the stairwell is this thing right here, which is going to lead us up into the next area. While not the greatest stairs in the world, very crumbled, this is going to be the way up. And so our task sort of repeats once we get up here. This level now, we just need to kind of scour for the key. I will note, though, that each of these levels tend to have different sort of structures. So these are a little bit different than the prior, as you can see here. Some of them are pretty cool, though. Oh, and there's the key. Perfect. So we found this one really, really quick. Sometimes that'll happen. Like I said, I have no idea how this is set up to do that and also contain looter, unless maybe it's always like going to generate one like treasure, quote unquote, chests. I don't know. I would love to know how that functions. I don't know. I'm always interested in like how the coding and stuff of some of these mods work. It's my nerd side coming out. After finding the key, you don't really have to loot any more of these chests. Yeah, you can just leave them. Because, like I said, you're not going to find, or you're not supposed to be able to find any more keys on this level. Oh, and that's not to say that finding this room isn't one of the hardest parts of these puzzles. Yeah, the stairs can be kind of elusive. Oh, and this chest contains the other key on the 3rd level. So, we now have 3 keys, and now I've got to find the stairs again. And I think I found this one in only like the 3rd room? I'm getting pretty lucky here, because that's not always the case. Yeah, there's a lot of rooms in all of these levels. Now for one of the ultimate bosses again, finding the stairs. The stairs of doom. The stairs of the forest. Oh man. Here we are again. These stairs look a little bit more assembled. But yes, yet again, this is still another level where we have to find one more key before we ascend to the boss room. Ooh, these are so pretty that you find in here. Cherry leaves, and I think this was all implemented before we ended up getting cherry trees in vanilla-based Minecraft. Oh, here's another one of the parkour. Oh, I love it. It's not a lot of parkour, but it's still something. Look at this over here. Yes. It'd be so satisfying to open one of those up right as you just finished that parkour. There's a couple of them, though, that are a little bit more challenging than this one. Now, on this level, I've gone through almost all of the chests, so there we go. Oh, man. I was like, we've gone through just about every chest, so I was bound to find it. And now we just got to find our way up to the next room, which is going to initiate the boss battle. Now, notice, by the way, the stairs on this level are a lot more defined. Yeah, I just think it's because adventurers typically don't make it all the way up here. Yeah, and by the way, I haven't been taking these guys out. I've just kind of been leaving them. There's not a huge reason to actually take them out. But here we are. So this is a pretty lengthy boss battle. I will say that. Once you do defeat this whole place can be torn down if you so desire. But yes, you are going to need an axe. So any kind of axe I think works. So anything that is considered an axe. And it doesn't really tell you that. You just figure it out once you actually go in here. We are a little cold. Hopefully we don't freeze. But yes, let's go ahead. And this is the nature keystone. And this is why you need an axe. The Starlet Crusher. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Notice, by the way, this guy. And it does seem right here. This weapon isn't very efficient. Maybe if we use this one? This is from the dimension here. So yes, you may have to craft some of these weapons from this dimension to be able to take this guy on. Now, I don't know. Can this bypass the ability for you to not use an axe on this? And also, will my gun potentially work? The gun does work. And I can't tell if this sword actually works, but that's funny that the gun actually does work. So yes, to be able to chop this wood down here, that is hilarious. I am definitely going to use the gun here for this. Oh, goodness. And yes, we are freezing. But yeah, you have to break this down. And this is a pretty lengthy battle. You know? Like, even if you were to technically get the chomps on him, it does take a while to whittle this guy down. All right. This guy is doing this whole thing, and I cannot attack him while he's doing this. Also, these things, by the way, are pretty nasty as well. And so we should be able to get rid of them. There we go. They're gone. That's gone. Oh, and they just come back. Okay. So maybe not the best. But yes, this is going to take a while. Oh, we also got owls coming out of them. Yep, that's why I said this boss battle is pretty darn cool. Now, I definitely got to whittle him out. Eventually, this guy will come out of here. Or at least it should. It has in the past. Get rid of this. There we go. Oh yeah, we're definitely taking him out. We're taking him out slowly but surely. Now, each time this guy does a spin attack like this, he's going to go into an immobilized state, and that's when you should be able to get your crit hits on, but you only get one, and I think this guy has so much extra health because of how far out the boss actually is. Yeah, just like how all of the other mobs are scaled, this one is also scaled, I believe. And so, yeah, that all adding together makes for a very chonky boss. That probably wouldn't take as long if it wasn't for that. Oh, there he goes. Now he's out of here. So yeah, this is what I was meaning by the boss will leave this middle section, and you've got to run. So having that extra speed boost is almost essential to be able to get through this place. Oh, goodness. There we go. And he can land a couple of crits as he makes his way into here. Just like that. Perfect. Oh, very good. Oh, man, I bet some, like, fire damage would be fantastic for this. So I now have the boss whittled down to, I think, 1 or 2 more rounds. Maybe just one here. And there we go. Defying nature. Like I said, this boss is so cool. And it leaves you with a little potted starlet sapling. Aw, how cute. Ah, there we go. And we end up getting ourselves a Starlet Crusher loot bag. Like I had said, this is where we get that 1 extra heart. We also get some winter leaves. It looks like some roots. Very cool. We also got a music disc from this and some logs. And of course, we get a boss trophy. All of these bosses do have trophies, but there we go. So we can put this in our arc slot, and now we have another little extra heart. And on top of that, if we go ahead and give ourselves some even more hearts, some absorption hearts, you can see the hearts then just continue to stack. So perfect. So now we have full hearts, and all we have to do to get out of here, by the way, is to just make our way out by just clicking this, and it will teleport us out. But we can also teleport back in anytime we want, and now we can actually tear this down if we so please, I believe. Right? It doesn't seem to work well here. Yeah, but we can still break through the blocks now. Yeah, perfect. So yes, escaping is just as simple as just breaking through these logs. So yet again, I think another fantastic journey. Oh man, and this is just the Everbright dimension, because the Everdawn is just as cool in my opinion, and the spider boss is yet again one of my favorites of all time. I honestly just wish it gave you a little bit better sort of loot drops on those. Like if the arcs just did something else, something a little bit extra than what it actually does. Now, by the way, here's something that will completely ruin you guys for the rest of your lives. This is 2 wide, but this is 3 wide. Oh yes, you seen that right. I didn't do this. I didn't do it, but you're seeing it. You're seeing it. It'll never be the same again. And so with that, we have defeated the Blue Skies Everbright dimension. Not to mention that it is eternally day here, so this would make for a really good base, I think. Up top here, this is fantastic. I mean, look at all this space. It's just pretty cold, and also you have to make sure you're oxygenated because it is pretty high up. But guys, if you did enjoy today's episode, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and give this video a huge thumbs up. With that being said, it is now time to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that huge thanks is going to go out to Null. Thank you so much for your amazing support, by the way, over on the Discord by becoming a Discord premium member and supporting me in one of the best ways possible. Now, I would love to hear from you guys down in the comments below. If you've made it this far in the video, let me know. What do you think of the Blue Sky mod? I love hearing from you guys, and of course, I would love to know. And with that said, I'll see you in the next one, and as always, thanks for watching. Bye!